Have you ever wondered what makes a person turn evil? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries. We often find comfort in categorizing people as good or evil, but the truth is, human nature is far more complex. It's an intricate web of genetic predispositions and environmental influences. The age-old debate of nature versus nurture comes into play here, so let's get ready to challenge our perceptions and assumptions. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the darker aspects of human nature. Picture a man who was once considered a beacon of hope in his community. Let's call him John, a name as common as the man himself. John was the epitome of virtue, a paragon of goodwill in his town. He was the kind of person who'd get up at the crack of dawn to help set up the local farmer's market. The one who'd always lend an ear to those in need. The one who'd always step in when injustice reared its ugly head. John was seen as a pillar of his community, a lighthouse guiding the way for others. But as we delve deeper into this tale, you'll find that even the brightest lighthouse can cast a dark shadow. As years passed, things began to change. John's beloved community started to grow, and with that growth came opportunities. New businesses sprouted up like mushrooms after the rain, and with these businesses came money, power, and influence. And it was here, in this fertile ground of prosperity, that the seeds of greed began to take root in John's heart. John's once noble intentions began to warp under the weight of his newfound wealth and status. He traded his early morning volunteering for late-night business deals. His friendly advice turned into manipulative tactics. The beacon of hope was gradually shrouded in a cloak of greed and deception. Power, they say, can corrupt even the purest of hearts, and John was no exception. The more power he accumulated, the more he yearned for. His moral compass, which had once pointed steadfastly towards virtue, began to spin wildly, no longer able to distinguish right from wrong. He was like a ship lost at sea, with no lighthouse to guide him back to the shore of morality. His actions grew increasingly audacious. He started bullying his competitors into submission, exploiting his workers, and even resorting to underhand tactics to maintain his dominance. The once revered man was now feared and despised. The community he had once served was now his playground, a chessboard where he moved the pieces at his whim. As his empire of deceit grew, so did his detachment from the community. He was no longer the man who'd lend an ear to those in need. Instead, he was the one creating the need, the one causing the pain. He was no longer the man who'd stand against injustice. He had become the injustice. The tale of John is a chilling one indeed. It's a tale of transformation. A tale of how a beacon of hope can descend into a pit of darkness. But it's also a tale that forces us to confront our own potential for darkness. This tale, while chilling, poses an important question. What could lead a seemingly good person down such a dark path? It's a question that delves deep into the human psyche, a question that probes the very nature of good and evil. It's a question that we'll continue to explore as we delve deeper into this journey through the darkness of human nature. To understand this descent into darkness, we must journey into the human psyche. The human mind is a labyrinth of complexity, one that holds the potential for both great kindness and unspeakable evil. Psychologists have long grappled with the question of what drives individuals to commit heinous acts. Two landmark studies, the Stanford Prison Experiment and Milgram's Obedience Study, have shed light on this enigma. The Stanford Prison Experiment, conducted by psychologist Philip Zimbardo in the early 70s, was designed to explore the psychological impact of perceived power. Volunteers were divided into two groups, prisoners and guards. Within days, the experiment spiraled out of control. The guards became increasingly sadistic, while the prisoners showed signs of extreme stress and emotional trauma. The experiment had to be terminated prematurely due to its shocking outcomes. Zimbardo's study demonstrated the power of roles and authority in shaping behavior. When given authority, even ordinary individuals can exhibit brutal behavior. It's a chilling reminder of the profound impact that power dynamics can have on our actions. Stanley Milgram's Obedience Study, on the other hand, delved into the role of obedience in carrying out reprehensible acts. Participants were instructed to administer electric shocks to another person, with the shocks increasing in intensity for each incorrect answer given. The catch: the shocks weren't real, and the person receiving them was an actor. The results were startling. The majority of participants continued to administer the shocks, despite the apparent distress of the person receiving them. They obeyed the authority figure, even when it conflicted with their personal moral compass. Milgram's study revealed that the need to conform and obey can override our sense of right and wrong. These two studies highlight the unsettling truth that, under the right circumstances, anyone could be capable of evil. They reveal the power that authority, roles, and conformity can have in shaping our behavior, often in ways that defy our moral and ethical principles. It's a sobering thought that gives us pause, but it also forces us to confront the darker aspects of our nature, to understand them, and ultimately to guard against them. It's a stark reminder that we must always strive to uphold our humanity, even when faced with situations that push us towards the opposite. In the end, these studies are not a condemnation of human nature, but rather a call to awareness. They remind us that we need to be ever vigilant about the psychological forces that could lead us astray. They underscore the importance of individual responsibility and moral courage in the face of authority and conformity. Indeed, these studies suggest that under certain circumstances, anyone could be capable of evil. This is not something we can afford to forget, for the descent into darkness begins with a single step, and it's often a step we're not even aware we're taking. But is it really that simple? Are we all just ticking time bombs waiting for the right trigger? This provocative thought leads us to one of the most enduring debates in psychology: the nature versus nurture argument. On one hand, we have the nature proponents, those who believe that our genes largely determine who we are. They argue that our DNA provides the blueprint for our traits, our behaviors, and even our potential for darkness. When it comes to human nature, they would say that some of us are simply born with a predisposition towards certain behaviors. On the other hand, we have the nurture advocates. They argue that our environment, our upbringing, the experiences we have, and the relationships we form all contribute significantly to shaping our personalities and behaviors. They would argue that no child is born evil. Rather, circumstances and experiences can lead someone down a darker path. But as we delve deeper into this debate, we find that it's not as black and white as it might seem. More and more scientists lean towards the understanding that both nature and nurture work together in intricate ways to shape us. Our genes may set the stage, but our environment and experiences can alter the script. So, it's not just about bad seeds, but also about the soil in which they're planted. As we conclude this exploration, it's important to remember one thing. We've journeyed through the abyss of human nature, braved the tales of darkness, and scrutinized the psychology behind evil. We delved into the contentious debate of nature versus nurture, and discovered that both play significant roles in shaping who we are. In our quest, we've learned that while certain circumstances and environments can nudge individuals towards malevolence, it's not a predetermined path. The capacity for change and growth is inherent in all of us. It's a glimmer of hope in the darkest of times, a beacon guiding us towards betterment. We carry within us a spectrum of light and dark, good and evil. This duality is part of our complex human nature, but it doesn't define us. What defines us is how we navigate this labyrinth of emotions and choices, how we react to the world around us. The key lies in understanding our own darkness, for only then can we truly strive for the light.